Welcome to Discover Janesville. My name is Yuri Rashkin. Today's episode is underwritten by Alliant Energy, and we are guests here today at the Rotary Gardens in Janesville. My next guest is Chris Rebout, Executive Director of Janesville Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
You are welcome.
And we are talking about the Janesville Mile, which is a new approach to marketing the downtown area of Janesville. A little bit of background of how Janesville Mile came about. In the many discussions that took place in front of the City Council about the ice arena, it occurred to me that perhaps there's a different way of marketing our downtown area, because we have all these businesses that are located in one area, such as the Rotary Gardens, the ice arena, and the Lions Beach. Then just a little bit down the street we have Janesville Performing Arts Center and the Janesville Public Library. And then following that stretch of the road, we have bars, restaurants, and shopping districts. And so it occurred to me that perhaps we should market all of these as one. I wrote an article for Janesville Messenger and called the stretch the Janesville Mile. Following that, I was invited to speak on Stan Milan's radio show. And following that, I got a call from Chris Rebout saying that she wanted me to come in and talk about Janesville Mile and see how perhaps what could happen next. And so at this point, I'd like to turn this over to Chris.
Certainly. What I really loved about the project, both when I saw what you had written, and I had a couple phone calls of people saying, hey, this is a neat idea, I should do some research. What I loved about it is it really fit our mission at the Convention and Visitor Bureau. Our mission is really to lead, support, and promote the tourism industry and create an economic impact for the community and to improve quality of life. And the idea of marketing this cluster of downtown businesses kind of fit all of that. It was a project that needed a little organization leadership push, a little initial funding, but it was something that could really blossom into economic impact from people coming to the downtown, spending money, going to multiple locations, and an idea that really improved quality of life because people would understand what's offered in their own downtown area.
Well, and that's an interesting first question, I suppose, because one of the questions people have for Janesville Mile is that is this a project that's more directed towards people in Janesville or more to people outside of Janesville? And how do you see that?
I really see it as both. What I always say, what's good for the tourist is good for the resident, because tourists like to come and have something interesting and exciting to do. Residents like to come and have something interesting and exciting to do. They like to have multiple opportunities in one evening. So really, it works well for both of them. And because this project is relatively new, the resident needs probably as much education as those who live outside of the community about what lives within the downtown and how to package it together into one great day or evening.
I've been very pleased because I think there's a lot of people who are rediscovering what downtown Janesville and Janesville downtown area has to offer because of this. One of the things that we're finding is that there's possibilities for businesses to also work together because so many of them work as pairs, where you can have Rotary Gardens and Farmers Market, where you can have Janesville Performing Arts Center and the Speakeasy or one of the downtown restaurants putting some kind of promotion together. But it seems like the next possibility is for a 5K run that is going to be part of the National Night Out, and that's actually going to be as part of the route on Janesville Mile.
Yes, and that's the other great thing about it is expands into events that work for any family, any age, any activity. A run-walk event is great because you can get those serious athletes who want to run and have a great time, but you can also get those families and kids who just want to take a walk down the mile and see what it has to offer and get involved in a good cause. So that's the beauty of the program too, is that you can have special sale events. You can have kind of a sidewalk day sale, or you can have a celebration. You can find so many themes and so many niches in this cluster.
An important stage in developing of the Janesville Mile is producing of the map, because this way we can actually show to people where the boundaries are. And a lot of credit goes to Sue Melton for putting it together. But what thoughts do you have on the map as it is right now?
Needless to say, that was the most challenging part, because you want to include everything. You don't want to have boundaries. You want to include absolutely everything you can to make the promotion as exciting and interesting and inclusive as you can. But the map ended up being the size of the wall of my office, and it just wasn't going to work. So we really needed borders.
We couldn't have everybody come down to your office and take a look at the map of the Janesville Mile.
The map is on display in one place. It's a large wall. It
Right.
just isn't going to work. So we really needed some kind of boundary and some kind of cluster. It was never meant to be an all-inclusive, this is all Janesville has to offer. It was meant to be the Janesville Mile, this particular section of Janesville. So we really did have to choose some boundaries that gave us the largest density of attractions in one area. And we have some arrows that lead you toward the interstate and some other things, but we needed to have some boundaries and we needed to have some limits to make it a usable piece. People like maps that they can actually read and find things on. So the end user was so important in the design, and I think we've achieved that, and that'll be an important balance for us as we go forward in the future of the map, is keeping that balance so the user can still use the piece, but we include what we need to.
Well, and that's very true, because there's so many exciting things that are happening. Almost, it makes people re-examine that stretch and to say, wait a minute, but just close to this is something else. And that was an exciting part of the challenge. What do you see? This is, as we know, is the Janesville Mile version 1.0. Version 2.0 could be anything we want, and we're inviting people to rediscover and discover, make this Janesville Mile their own, which I think there's a lot of interest in, because a lot of the prints are gone. They're out there. People have the map. What changes do you foresee in the version 2.0?
I'd like to give it some personality and character now. We've had people out using the very basic map, but I'd kind of like some impact or some quotes of how people make the Janesville Mile their own. To me, the Janesville Mile is Saturday morning, farmers market, Rotary Gardens, and maybe the park. So I'd like to add a little bit of personality, some personal stories. We can do some of that on the map, but the website will be where we really include a lot of that about how people make the Janesville Mile their own, how they use it, giving it that life and that character that make you kind of endeared to it.
Okay. And we're looking right now at trying to figure out how the expenses can be covered, so that's always the next exciting adventure of how do you make sure that everyone's included, but yet people have an ability to participate and distribute all these copies of the map. Going beyond that, as I mentioned earlier, we have the opportunity of maybe bringing some businesses together for joint promotions. Going beyond that really is a possibility of a trolley that a lot of communities have when it comes to promoting their attractions, is to have a tourist trolley where people can get around and they can park their vehicle at one location, and then maybe they can ride around to the Performing Arts Center and then come back to their vehicle. That is, if they haven't walked here in the first place. What other opportunities do you see as being able to be a part of the Janesville Mile at this point?
Well, it's really endless. It depends, again, on what people's passion is. We had someone that came to a meeting that loved to bike. He wanted to talk very specifically about a bike route. We have, obviously, retail people who want to do something that might be sales-based. We have restaurants. Wouldn't it be fun to do a taste of the Janesville Mile, or the best burger on the Janesville Mile? So really, there's great opportunity.
You should be marketing.
I should be marketing.
Oh, wait.
I'd love to do a photo contest along the Janesville Mile. So I think the possibilities are as endless as the people that come and utilize the program.
I suppose we should acknowledge the Leadership Development Academy group that did a promotional video, which is very helpful to the Janesville Mile as well. And that's actually another good development, is that there's a group forming that is looking to basically take ownership of the Janesville Mile, and this consists of the local business owners and people interested in downtown and its fate. And I think it's moving in the right direction, because this has to be something that is embraced in order to be successful.
Yeah, and our intention really was to give this project some legs or some wings and see how far it would walk or fly, and let it kind of grow and blossom and be owned by the Downtown Mile businesses themselves. So we're really nearing that goal of letting this project go out on its own and succeed.